So there's this thing that happens when you've been an engineer long enough. You stop trusting anything. You don't trust the docs. You don't trust the error message. You especially don't trust yourself when you say, I already checked that. This is a story about a 4-hour debugging session that ended with me staring at a file called environ inside the proc file system on a Linux server in my house. And the whole problem was that one process.bun was installed and another process running on the same machine as the same user was absolutely certain it wasn't. If you've ever said the words, but it works in my terminal, out loud, this one's for you. I'm Jason. I'm a senior software engineer by day. I spent about 10 years in the military before that, then a stretch as a federal civilian, and now I write code for a living and build side projects when I should probably be sleeping. This show is me telling you about the rabbit holes, the weird, frustrating, occasionally magical things that happen when you actually try to build stuff with AI tools in 2026. No hot takes, no AI is going to replace us all, just stories from someone in the trenches. Today's story, Tmux, Claude code, and the runtime that wasn't there. Here's the thing I was trying to do. I have a home server. It runs Ubuntu. I use it for everything. Services, automation, the usual self-hosted stack. And I had Claude Code running on it, which if you don't know is Anthropic's command line coding agent. You give it a task, it writes code, runs it, fixes it, all in your terminal. Now, Claude Code has a feature called channels. The idea is that you can wire it up to Telegram, Discord, or iMessage and message it from your phone like it's a person. And I wanted that because I'm not always at my desk. Sometimes I want to kick off a task while I'm walking the dog and come back to see what Claude figured out while I was gone. So I went to set it up. The docs were clean. 3 commands. A Telegram bot token from Botfather. A pairing code. Done. Or so the doc said. I ran the commands. It didn't work. The error was something like command not found bun. Bun, which is interesting because bun was installed. The channels plugin specifically require bun, not node, not dino, bun. The docs are very clear about that, and I had installed it earlier that week. I could open a fresh terminal, type bun, version, and it would print the version number happily. The binary was right there, in my home directory. Exactly where it was supposed to be. But when Claude Code tried to launch the channels plugin, it couldn't find it. So I do what any engineer does. I check the obvious stuff. Is bun in my PAT? Yes. Echo PH. There it is. Is it executable? Yes. LSS law. The execute bit is set. Maybe Claude Code is using a different shell? I check. Same shell. Maybe it's a permissions thing? Nope. Same user, same group, same everything. This is the part of debugging where you start to feel a little crazy. Because every check I'm running says it should work. And every time I try to run the thing, it tells me it doesn't. So I do the engineering equivalent of slapping the side of the TV. I restart Claude Code. Same error. I restart my terminal. Same error. I close everything, open a fresh session, install bun again, just to be sure. Same error. And then I remember something. Claude Code wasn't running in a normal terminal. It was running inside Tmux. For anyone who doesn't know, Tmux is a terminal multiplexer. It lets you create persistent sessions on a server that keep running even when you disconnect. I use it because I want Claude Code to stay alive when I close my laptop. It's a totally normal way to run long-lived processes. But here's the thing about Tmux. When you start a Tmux session, it inherits the environment of whatever shell you launched it from. And then it just keeps that environment forever, even if you change your shell config later, even if you install new things, even if you log out and log back in. The Tmux session was older than my bun installation. It didn't know bun existed. Because the version of the world it was looking at, the environment it was frozen in, was from before I'd ever installed bun. Now, I'll be honest. I didn't figure this out by being smart. I figured it out by getting suspicious. And the way I got suspicious was a trick I want to share, because it's the kind of thing that you learn once and then use forever. On Linux, every running process has a directory in proc. So if I have a process with PID 1234.5, there's a directory at /proc/1234.5. And inside that directory, there's a file called environ. That file contains the exact environment variables that process was started with, not what the shell currently has, not what your basher C says, what the process itself actually sees. So I found the PID of the tmux session, I ran cat/proc/that PID/environ, and I piped it through tadd to make it readable because environment variables in that file are separated by null bytes for some reason. That's a whole other story. And there it was. The PATH variable in that tmux session did not include the directory where bun lived. Of course it didn't. The session was older than the install. The fix was almost embarrassingly simple. Kill the tmux session. Start a new one. Done. Bun was there. The channel's plugin installed. Claude Code could find everything it needed. But the lesson, the thing I want you to walk away with, is bigger than tmux. When something on your computer says, I can't find X, and you can clearly see X right in front of you, the question to ask is not, is X there? The question is, what does this specific process think the world looks like? Because processes have their own view of reality, their own PATH, their own environment, their own frozen snapshot of what was true when they started. /proc/PID/environ is how you check. That's the rabbit hole for this week. If you've got your own debugging war story, the kind where the answer turns out to be something dumb and beautiful, I'd love to hear it. You can find me at realheisenbug@gmail.com. Next week, I want to talk about the time I tried to get an AI to estimate the age of a roof from a photo and what I learned about why prompts that work in testing fall apart in production. I'm Jason. Thanks for listening.